It's funny. Have you ever stopped to think that the most important parts of a conversation are the ones that nobody actually says out loud? It's true. Language is kind of like a giant puzzle. And today, we're going to hunt for those invisible pieces, the secret clues our brains use to solve it every single day.
So, picture this. You're walking down the street and you see this sign, just three simple words: heated attendant parking. Seems pretty straightforward, right?
But hang on a second. Let's really think about it. If we take those words literally, does it mean they warm up the parking attendants for you? I mean, of course not. Your brain just instantly throws that idea out. So what is actually going on here?
Well, this is where you can see that massive gap between the words on the sign and what our brains figure out in like a split second. On the one hand, you have what the sign literally says, but on the other, you have what every single one of us understood instantly. That gap, that is filled with invisible meaning. Okay, so this leads us to the big question. What is this invisible ingredient, and how in the world do our minds make that leap so fast and so easily? Let's break it down with another example you've probably seen 100 times.
Here we go. A classic sign you'd see at any mall: baby and toddler sale. And just like before, your brain knows exactly what this means without even breaking a sweat. But again, if we're being super literal, we run into a pretty ridiculous question. Is the store actually selling babies and toddlers? No, obviously not. But why is it so obvious? Because this is what's happening in your head automatically. The word clothes is nowhere on that sign, but your mind just pops it right in there to make the sentence make sense. You see baby and toddler sale, but you read baby and toddler clothes sale. And there's a name for this. It's called mentally supplied information. It's basically a cognitive shortcut we use constantly. We take the words we see or hear, and we mix them with this huge library of background knowledge we all have, and poof, we get the real meaning. So how does our brain know what word to add in? I mean, it's not just random guessing, right? Nope. It's following a clear set of rules, and probably the most important rule of all is context. And this right here is the absolute key to everything. We aren't just simple word decoders. We're more like intention detectives. When we read a sign or listen to a friend, our brain's main job isn't just to get the dictionary definition, it's to figure out what that person actually meant to tell us. You can think of it like a really simple formula that happens at lightning speed. You take the actual words somebody says, you filter it through everything you already know about the world, and what comes out is the intended meaning. It's really a collaboration between the speaker and the listener. So this is the big divide we've been talking about. Literal meaning is just the raw material, right? The dictionary definitions. But the intended meaning, that's the finished product. That's the real message. And as we're seeing, they can be two totally different things. Honestly, what we're talking about here is basically a cognitive superpower we all have. It's this incredible ability to see what isn't there, to hear what isn't actually said. Let's put it to the test one more time with something super simple. 4 little words. It's getting late. You've probably said this and heard this thousands and thousands of times. Now, if we take it literally, all it means is that the time of day is moving forward. The clock is ticking. It's just an observation. Super basic. But think about it. Is that ever what someone really means when they say it? Almost never. So what's the invisible message that's actually being sent here? Well, if you're at a party with a friend, it means we should leave. If you're stuck in a really long meeting, it probably means let's wrap this up. And if you're hosting, it might be a polite way of saying you should probably go home now. See, in every single case, the literal words are just a carrier for the real message. So let's wrap this all up. This ability to understand invisible meaning really comes down to a few key things. First, we're always mentally plugging in missing words to make things make sense. We do this by relying on our shared background knowledge of how the world works. And we're always searching for what the speaker intended, not just what they literally said. And finally, context is king. It's the master key that unlocks the real meaning every single time. Now that you know what to look for, I promise you're going to start seeing this everywhere, in ads, in conversations with friends, even in your emails. The world is just filled with this invisible meaning, this constant, silent conversation happening just beneath the surface. So the only question is, how much of it are you going to start to notice?